I felt like I went into it with like almost no expectations just so that I wouldn't be like overwhelmed when we got there. But I think like nothing was the way that I thought it was going to be.
I think the most engaging part for me was like the time we spent in Jaipur. It was just like one unexpected thing after another, and I just remember like, especially when we went to Amer, like suddenly we were up at this like beautiful place. Like, I don't know, it was kind of like emotional because that's like a whole like history and like culture and place and everything that like people aren't even aware of, and like that those are everywhere. That's not like exclusive to India or exclusive to Jaipur.
It's neither like a mystical like perfect world, but it's also like not this like terrible bad place. It's just like, oh right, like people live here. Like sometimes I think about the people that I've seen and I'm just like, they are like, what are they doing now?
I think from our perspective is a really fascinating, kind of endlessly fascinating mix of the familiar and the unfamiliar.
When we saw like the artisans and like the different crafts, I guess, you're like confronted with it. Like you see the people making the things that you're gonna be using. You know where that's coming from and who made that. I think there's like a certain comfort in that.
I think when we were bartering, we all felt a little bit guilty about trying to pay $2 for things instead of $4 for things because we all have the money and they're clearly working really hard to make $4. I would think almost everything was challenging for all of us. Like the animals all over the place was awful. Like it was not what I'm used to seeing too. Like all of it was.
It was definitely shocking to come back just to see like the differences between poverty here and poverty over there because they're just so drastically different. We talked about environmental issues and like the trash a lot, and we saw so much of that, just like piles and piles of garbage everywhere.
Seeing like little children on the street homeless was really hard.
Like witnessing like hunger and how things were priced and like why they are priced that way, if they're subsidized by the government or doesn't benefit poor people or minorities in the population.
Coming back, I definitely felt it. Like I felt like an outsider even though this is like my home. I didn't have culture shock when we went there, but as soon as I was like on the ground walking back to my apartment, I could just tell like it just didn't feel like home for a little bit.
It's hard to like go to a place like India and come back and like not carry something with you because it's so different from America in like fundamental ways.
A really nice gift, I think, was to be introduced to Harsh Vardhan and discover this sort of thick relationship that I had with him already through my cousin and their long history together. So that was a real treat.
It was such a new experience for everyone. But like, I think it was challenging, but I don't think it was negative. Like I genuinely like enjoyed being with all of the people that were on the trip, and I think that we got really lucky.